We hear about it more often than we'd like to. Teachers being taken out of the classroom for inappropriate behavior.
It attacks who you are as a person, and there's no easy way to find any healing from that.
We do hold them to a higher standard, and we have to ensure that that environment is protected.
In the worst cases, the teacher will never be in a classroom again. But what about the cases that don't make headlines? Cases like these. In 2012, teacher 1 showed up in the classroom under the influence of alcohol. His blood alcohol level, 0.287. In 2013, an investigation concluded teacher 2 went to work under the influence of drugs. Teacher 3 had several slip-ups from 2003 to 2007, including striking a teacher in the face and being found alone with a female student in a locked classroom. All 3 teachers were suspended, and all 3 could legally be back in an Arizona classroom today.
The storm of emotions just went from every extreme, from feeling special and loved to feeling desperate and ashamed.
Heather Sievertson experienced sexual abuse at the hands of her English teacher in high school.
For the next several years, he selected, targeted, groomed me for repeated sexual assault. He was very familiar with where he could go and what he could do to disguise what was going on.
The 43-year-old says the sexual abuse started when she was 16.
It seemed like the disciplinary process was aimed at punishing me. I was the one who was kicked out of my town, and I was the one who was made to feel ashamed.
Looking back, Heather thinks the abuse she experienced could have been prevented.
If there had been a database back then, I don't think that that teacher would have been able to move around to different school districts and be hired with impunity and trusted with their young people.
Log on and you can find licenses and certificates of doctors, lawyers, contractors, even cosmetologists. All appear online in public databases, including complaints and disciplinary action. But what you won't find in Arizona: information on who's teaching your child.
I don't believe it's an invasion of the teacher's privacy to hold them to the same kind of accountability standards that we hold doctors, lawyers, healthcare workers.
There are tools. Are they as easily accessible to the public as they could be? Probably not.
In her 2012 State of the State address, Governor Jan Brewer called for a searchable teacher database where parents could see the certificate of their child's teacher, and also whether any disciplinary action has been taken. 1 year later, lawmakers gave the State Board of Education $500,000 to develop the project.
Our goal at the Department of Education is that by the summer of 2014, this upcoming summer, that these resources will be available to the public.
Why so long? Luer says it comes down to changing the certification process from being paper-based to online.
So it is actually a very complex process, but what's important is in the end, the public will have a very simplistic way to search for teachers. And then there will be the option to take a look at discipline that's been investigated.
As a victim of educator abuse, Heather supports this database. But that's not the only reason why.
As a parent, I think that having a database with this information about teachers would be essential for the parents. I've developed a sort of sensitivity to this so that I am really keeping an eye on my children.